Hi guys! Welcome to Ralph Reacts. Easy meal, Panalo. Wish has expanded to USA. It's actually good because it started here in the Philippines. Good job. So who's making these decisions? Wish. Oh, 1075. Very good decision. I think they're making the right moves and making our country being known. I'm making this video for people looking outside from the country. So this review will be for people that are not Filipino, to give people a certain degree of understanding of the Filipino culture. It's garnering more attention, and I think that's an opportunity for us to showcase our culture. We'll go over, of course, the video. We'll go over his name, his background, why he has a different perspective, the styles, the content. So I hope you like this video. If you want more videos like this, watch my next video. I'll be making a video about Filipino bad words based on which area you are in, what words you should avoid. You should watch that video. I'm scripting it and I'll probably shoot it sometime soon. So this is a review of Easy Miller's Panalo. He actually speaks in 3 languages in this video. I don't know the 3rd language. Easy Mill. What is this video about?
Wish. Turn up! 107.
Mga kababayan is like my countrymen. And then the background music is Cariñosa.
Been fine.
We are all Filipino. Whatever the color of your skin, embody that. Whether you are Tagalog, Bisaya, or Ilocano. Actually, there are more than that in the Philippines. You would see this as a common denominator for most countries that have multiple languages, that they're unified by one language. And it's usually English. This happened with India, this happened with Philippines. Why is this important? It's easier to talk in English if you're crossing different borders. Most of the good English speakers I know are more Bisaya. I think they're better with English just because they don't have access to Tagalog, but have access to Filipino. He obviously knows Ilocano. And Ilocano is like a northern part. It's north of the imperial capital, national capital region. And he will be using that in this language. Filipino and Tagalog are a bit different. Filipino is like an adoption of English, like Konglish or Japlish. Tagalog is like the purer form. The Spanish actually changed some of the language when they came into the Philippines. For example, the word bait. Bait means nice. But actually, it came from the word bait, which is like wit. And this could be manifested in words like nasisiraan ng bait, or you've lost your sanity. And they changed some of the words to make Filipinos more passive. And it was effective to some degree. That's why when people say mabait, they say, kind or like passive or things like that, right? Nothing can beat the vigor of our blood. Bagsik. Intensity. Bagsik is like a growl, like a snarl. And he's also doing this like he means it. And you can see like he has like a red and blue here. It doesn't have the yellow, but it has white. It doesn't have the stars. Shout. Our Panalo is like, it's like winning, but the syllabication of Panalo is win, but it can also mean winning depending on the context. Nanalo, or if you change the P to N at the first, the prefix, it means that you've won. Nananalo is also winning in that context. Don't talk about the negatives. Whatever happens in whatever part of the world you are in. Panig is like area or part. So he's saying like, this is our future. He's trying to influence people to like unify under the brand and shout it because this is our future. That's what he's saying. He's not actually winning. He's influencing people to win.
Hey, keep running your mouth when you're lying and stay on my...
Keep running your mouth when you're lying. Okay, this part is like really fast. So I'm not gonna pretend I'm gonna lie. And he's saying like more colloquial terms like cripping. Not really a Filipino thing.
Business will watch you dying. I'm taking my people to heist with crime, but regular living, and that's what I'm trying to prove.
He's trying to make a living, and he's like,
instead of just lying in boots, first true Filipino rapper on the news, enjoy it.
So he's claiming that he's made a name for himself. He's the first one.
Haters cause news while I put my city on the map.
His city, I don't know, if I understand, he's from Olongapo. Olongapo is actually very close to a an American installation base. So this is also maybe why he's saying something bad about Spain. Because my previous video about Gary Valenciano is he's actually Portuguese or Spanish or something of a Latin influence. He's not speaking negatively of them, and this is also why him and his dad and his music is also like that. Let's just touch briefly on his name. His name is Ezekiel, which is Christianized. Miller is also obviously very Western. It sounds like a time of the Philip Morris. Most of the people there in Olongapo, I'll show you a map around this area, like army brats. North and South is a lot different. For example, honorifics up north and south are different. So there are three parts of the Philippines, this, and this. Up north, where you have the landers, more of the imperialists, there would be the Tagalogs or the Filipinos. When you say Tagalogs, they're usually part of the 8 rays of the sun that were defending at around that time when they were making the Constitution. Ilocano is not part of that, actually. And Visayas are not part of those eight rays of the sun. There were even prepositions to include the sword as one of the rays, one of the swords, the Sultan swords that you would see that are like wavy. So just going back, honorifics like po and opo are not the most honorific language. We are not that. Koreans have like 9 levels of honorifics. And if you go to Visaya, the more common term is bay, not babe, bay, which is like a brethren. And this is different from the northern part where we would be more honorific. You say po or opo to who somebody's older than you. And that's why the culture is a lot different, just because of the language. Japanese also has like 5 levels of honorifics. Let's go back. He's doing those word plays. He will also do that with Spain in a bit. He's narrating something with him and his cousins.
Just listen to rap, Kendrick, him and ASAP with some metal and mammy, we turn up with that. Been one thing till the sun came, now I want fame like a kid in a trap. Hey, I've been in Spain, but the letter S is silent. I'm claiming my reign like a king so I can water crops for surviving. Go away if you tripping.
So he's actually agricultural. The southern parts are actually more the fish type, the seafaring types.
Had a homie who's crippin', ain't got no love for the
Cripping is like doing something bad. I'm not the expert there. It's more of like a Western colloquial term that is to a particular subset. If I understand correctly, his father is also a musician. That's also why his music is like this. It's actually hybrid, and I would consider him like a true hybrid.
Listen, 3 stars in the sun, ay.
3 stars in the sun is a part of the Philippine flag. You can see it here. The 3 stars symbolize the 3 parts: Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The Ilocanos, where he came from what I understand, he's also from St. Louis in Baguio. They're very proud, and they're very known to be aggressive and thrifty. And forgive me if I'm wrong, because there are different parts there up north that are a little bit different. Olongapo and Ilocos, where he's from, is different. So which influence he got from what year he was born, I don't know. And of course, there's also Pampanga near there, and more of like Tarlac, which are more agricultural states. He's trying to get influence from them. I don't know how much he can attribute to that, but I think it's just an attempt to get more people in. He's wanting to remind his people to shout. It is. Shout. So he's saying we don't claim victory, we just shout. Don't think about the negative. Whichever part of the country, of the world you're in. Our future depends on it. Hey, if you think there's only one language I can use, you cannot attain anything if you think like that. You will be accountable to God. Bathala is like a god. It's interesting how he says utang is like debt, lutang is float. The Philippine economy is like a dirty float. It's interesting that we say that. It's a managed float. And how he's saying it, tang, is very, sang is double. It's stressed, consonant stress. Consonant stress is something of an indicator for any language of how intense the feeling is. Sometimes this is a duplication of the letter in the pronunciation in the alphabet, just like in Korean. When you say sang shiot or double S, in some cases it's just like how stressed that is. And there's a popular curse word that says putang, which is for educational purposes, it's like your mom is a whore, and then ina is mother, whore mother. That's what it is. There's a cat that was rice cooked. And at the background, there was somebody saying Ilocano, Ilocano, which is the third language he'll be using. Now you can see the difference in the language just because of how he uses it. Just so you know, before you proceed to his Ilocano, the cause of his success is actually partly of his parents, who are also musicians. He is already at a specific financial class. The mere fact that he can travel to Los Angeles, he's definitely richer than me. For some people, this is hard to understand. Once you start traveling, you can't say like it's only in the Philippines, but because most people who say this are below a certain class that they can't travel to other countries, because they would say, corruption is only in the Philippines. There's always that sentiment from people from a certain strata. You just need to travel more if you want to change your mind. Let's go to his Ilocano. Okay, this part he's just saying all of you. All of you? Because he just uses these three languages. Lahat kayo is all of you. He just says it the same. You can see that when he's using the Ilocano language, the stress and the rounding of the vowels are particular, and consonants at the end are particularly different from when he's using Filipino or Tagalog. Filipino and Tagalog could be interchangeably. It's just more of like Tagalog uses deeper words that are more syllabic in nature, less westernized. It's very hard to tell the difference.
Ever since bata ako, I've been kind of discriminated.
Ever since I was a kid,
My own home country.
I was discriminated against my own home country.
Some say like, puti.
You're white.
I'm Pinoy.
And he says, I'm not white. I'm Pinoy. Tisoy, it's either Spanish or Caucasian. And this has diluted over time in the Philippines. When you say Tisoy, it could mean that you're Spanish Filipino. There was some hatred culturally of how the takeover happened, and so I think there's still that stigma that he actually experienced, which is not a good experience to have. So this part he was talking about how one of the local heroes, Lapu-Lapu, was killed in Mactan. Mactan is in Cebu. When they say Spanish colonized the Philippines, at that time, Magellan went to Visayas and nobody was paying attention to him. He's just another traveler. And trade was active at that time. So it was like an over-assertion to some degree.
Nang Filipino, despite any turmoil, I'll be proud of my soil.
Bakit is just why. I'm proud of my blood. Why? Why? Then he jumps to the chorus. I'm Filipino, it's in my blood. Put the color of your skin, put it in your heart. Whatever that three languages specifically for. Shout out victory. Don't talk about the negative. Whatever you are in the world. Our future defense.
Exclusive on
Panalo. Okay, then he shouts, win, like a cheer. I like the message of the song. I think what it aims to do as a song, using his experience to tell that story is very good. So this part will review the song. Emotion, there's so many layers of emotion. The kinesthetics, the eye contact, face movement, the hand movement, the partnering. There's that gathering of ambition and hunger and pain that he wants to communicate that pain. And he wants to double down on that pain. Then he wants to point to the flag, right? Those are like strong messages and like pounding on his chest. Celebrative switches of mood. I'm a bit torn on how he used mixed language, because when you use mixed language, it means that you're appealing to a specific demographic only. It seems like it got 45 million, which could be maybe half the country. This is what I say when people want to get great. Anytime you have a bad experience, like, just accept it. It is what it is. You just turn it to sugar. Turn shit to sugar. It's very difficult to find, but people who can make this are actually people who become successful. If you have pain, embrace it. Don't hide it. And like, don't shove it in other people's face. Just use it to take it forward. When you're on the next level of existence, it doesn't really matter. Just laugh at how you did and what you did at that time. Let's go to musicality, harmony, and melody. What was more powerful was just the content of what he was saying. But there was like definitely switches. What was notable for me was that Kel screeching. That part was like, he was like about to bawl. That like screech was very significant for me because it matched the emotion. It's disruptive how he did it and what he's saying, like the overall package. But it's actually a true hybrid. The editing on this is amazing. Let's talk about label. In the Bible, people are separated. You go into these small groups. One of the reasons why the Philippines has never united, to this day, I believe we have not united, is because of the difference in language. At the time that Lapu-Lapu was killed, well, I'm not a historian, but I would assume that people would not think of him as a Filipino. They were probably thinking of themselves as, I'm from this tribe and he's from that tribe and he's an enemy. One of the ways that have always been effective, like even to this day, is like you divide and conquer. You divide the intelligent from the non-intelligent. Intelligent, you work with this tribe to destroy the other tribe. It just rolls easier that way because you can't send soldiers that fast from that far away. One trade will take 6 months or something like that. He's a northerner. There's a big difference in how he interprets things. That was evident for me. I think the US also has that similar, like, you know, people from New Jersey are different, or people from Colorado are different, or from Iowa are different. In the Philippines, it's more colorful to say. Not just do they not speak the same language, they eat different food, they have different customs. If I would turn it into a color, just for your interpretation, if they're using the same language, they're 16-bit color. In the Philippines, it's just like 65536 colors. Just because each culture would have their own way of how you respect the elders, how you would approach a group, and if you're male or female, what the norms you follow. Sometimes, to some degree, that even people from south to south don't even talk to each other just because they're, you know, on a different tribe to say. All in all, I think what the message is saying is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for this performance, Easy. The quality of music is so high. Even if you don't like it and you have musical knowledge, you'd want to listen to this just because of its color, of the story, of the beauty of how it's presented. I hope you liked that video. If you do want to learn more about the Filipinos, I'll make a video about Filipino swear words. Please check that out. Thank you for watching. Watch my next video.